So tell me about your wound. What's been happening?
We've been going with the nurse to do that.
They're doing the curetting? Is it getting smaller? Are things sticking together?
No, and I think it's because he has like columns holding the spot in place, so it's not letting it go flat. And the nurse doesn't believe that it's doing anything for him anymore. So that hole wants to close itself before it's healed inside. So
Yeah.
see the bottom one? It's almost closed.
Is there fluid constantly leaking from the wound?
Yeah.
And what's going into that wound?
It's the green foam is what we're using, but
And it's getting suction too, or no?
it's soft, but not as much. I think it's because it might be too big, I don't know. But the nurse that was doing the curette, she thinks that maybe he would benefit with the silver one.
The silver sponge?
Yeah, silver sponge, the one that has some kind of chemicals. And he's not draining a lot. This is like 2 days worth of draining and hardly anything. Look at that.
Not much.
Not much.
You can take my wheelchair away if I get getting in the way, honey.
No, it's okay, buddy. Thank you.
Maybe ask him if my wheelchair is away.
Is the wheelchair
No, don't worry
bothering
about
you?
me. So let's figure out what this thing feels. So that is 4.5.
So he does have smaller numbers than before, but it's never gonna get flat.
Essentially 9. Those are the most. Goes on there. Number 6. Well, this is one of those problems. It's like a total catch-22 in terms of, what do we do? You got a wound on a place where you constantly have, and you can't feel. So, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of great options. Our options are keep doing what we're doing, follow the numbers, see if it gets smaller, or try and do surgery. Problem with surgery is a wound. You have to sit on it. It's hard to get it to heal. So, in your case, surgery may or may not be the option for you. I can open this up. I can freshen everything up, try and stick things down, and we'll see if it closes. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. The problem is it's a surgery.
You could take about an orange size stuff out of there. That's all those columns that are keeping the void open, right?
Well, the void is kept open because you've got 2 slippery surfaces that are sliding against each other and making, basically your body thinks, oh, when that happens, it's a joint. So now you've got a pseudo joint there. And joints don't want to heal shut because if they did, then we wouldn't be able to move them.
Oh.
So, that's what they're talking about when they say bursa. That's the joint capsule. So,
Wow.
that's why I said let's curette this wound aggressively. Let's try and disrupt that, because the one way you can't get a joint to stiffen up is if you have constant inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the plan. How often are you getting curetted?
Every week.
Every week. And that doesn't look like it's necessarily helping. And the reason for that is because you still got these shear forces every time you transfer. Anything that's stuck down over the night or when you were immobile for a little bit just tears. You got shear force. What do we do about it? I don't know. There's a clean wound. You can live with it. We can try and do surgery. Can't guarantee you surgery will work, but it certainly might help. And then there's a few other tricks that we can do, you know, rotating tissue around, etc. But you've got good coverage on the bone from what I can tell. It's just that you've got this pseudo bursa that's preventing things from healing. So, you know, maybe surgery is the answer for this.
My biggest concern, dude, is that, doctor, is that white dude, I have no butt whatsoever, and I have hardly any protection back there whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm afraid that if you went in there, some stuff out, it would make it even more thin, paper thin. And so I'm just like, now I'm spending, you know, about 80% of my day lying on my belly, and I'm just thinking, well, doctor, if you're going to cut that out, you know, do so much cutting out and try and get that thing to close up, you know, it might be so thin that, I mean, that might be the situation in the future, whether, I mean, if this thing does close up, then I always like a huge problem with breakdown, so I could only spend a little bit of time on my bottom anyway, you know, so that's why I'm kind of...
It's a totally valid point, and yes, if I do surgery, it will make things thinner. You know, and yes, if I do surgery, there's no guarantee that it won't just turn right back into a wound. And you'll have to stay on your stomach to get it to heal, probably at least 4 weeks. You know, so, you know, like I said, we're in a bad situation. And we can either stay the course, you can keep doing dressing changes, see what happens. It doesn't look to me like we've made much progress over the past couple months, but that doesn't mean that, you know, things won't change. You can try the silver, you know, give it another couple months, and that, you know, let the wound sort itself out in your head. Because, you know, once we do surgery, there's no going back.
Yeah, I know, that's a big step, man. Yeah, I
Big
know.
step. You know, there's all kinds of crazy stuff I can do, move tissue from here and there and plug it in, and, you know, if we need to generate bulk, there's ways to do it. You know, the problem is nothing I do is ever going to be as good as what you had to start with. You know,
right.
Guaranteed. I wish I was that good, but there's nothing I can offer you that's as good as what already broke down. So with that in mind, you know, we got to deal with the realities here. Can these things heal? Yeah, for a while. You know, but then the same forces that caused them act on whatever we do to repair them.
I see. Another question.
So if we use the silver and the bottom one closes, just do the top one?
Well, I mean, if you can get this thing to close, and then you're right back where you were before, right? With
Yes,
this
and
little
then-
sliding surface, but at least you don't have an open wound. So as long as it doesn't get infected, which, you know, the odds are sort of small it won't get infected, but if it doesn't, then, you know, let it ride.
Yeah, because that was a big concern of my wife, was if the bottom did close, she was wondering if the bottom did close, then would it be okay to have the top? Because the top one seemed like it wants to stay open, but the bottom one doesn't.
Yeah, if it closes, no big deal. That'd be, I mean, that's what we're trying to get, is this whole thing to close, but we also want it to stick down. But if it just closed, we'd be back to where you were before they put the drain in.
Where it would be.
Is that the end of the world? No. At least you don't have to do dressing changes for a while.
If we did go that surgery path like you were talking about with cutting out like an orange size of it, then would it, do you think that my body would close up the skin, or you think I would actually need to have a skin graft to close that up?
I think probably what I have to do is local tissue rearrangement, which is basically a flap, which maybe you've read about when you've been reading about these kind of sores. But that would basically be, the first line for this one is to rotate skin from here, which, you know, you have no bulk anywhere. You're basically skin and bones. But I rotate what I could from here, push it down into where you don't have stuff, and close it up. The other option is to take from your leg, do a hamstring flap, bring hamstring tissue up, and build bulk there. And then your final options are to take tissue from somewhere else, like your abdomen, and plug it in there.
Yeah, because what they did was they took my left ab and they tucked it into my groin area
Mhm.
whenever I had a girdle stone operation or a heterotopic ossification removal. They ended up, it created a void, and so they had to stick that, they had to do a muscle flap right there from my left abdomen and tuck it down in there, in that pocket.
So that flap was already used.
Yeah, so, yeah, so you're saying that they probably, well, it sounds like they would have to take some kind of like, I preferably, doctor, I would like them to take something from in my legs, not in my arms, or someplace that I can feel, because, yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I
there.
totally do.
Yeah.
I totally do. So those would be the options. We start small and probably just clean it up, see if I can close it with, you know, a local flap. If that breaks down, we just have to get more and more creative.
Just to err on the cautious side, can we change to the silver product and
Absolutely.
give it a couple of months?
Absolutely.
See what's up?
What we're talking about right now is end game surgeries. You know, there's no going back. Once the cut is made, the scar's forever. So, you know, take as long as you want. This is not life-threatening. So, as long as this wound is clean, you can have an open wound and survive. You know?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, dokie, yeah. I think, yeah, what I'm kind of getting from you is that, you know, once you do the surgery, then there's no going back, and it's a, you know, I was kind of feeling like you really wanted to do the surgery, but then now I'm kind of feeling like you're kind of a little bit hesitant about it, and I understand. I hope that's the feeling that I'm getting. I don't know.
Well, you know, I'm hesitant to do a surgery that I don't know is going to work, and I always am. You know, I also don't think that this wound is going to close up all the way on its own, but stranger things have happened, and I've seen worse. And you have to be fastidious, and as you well know, for, you know, incredible amounts of tedious time. So, you know, that's the thing. I just don't like to do things that don't work. And with decubitus ulcer care, there's just, you know, there's massive failure rates.
Yeah.
85% failure rate.
I don't need to deal with that, man. Yeah.
Would you be able to change that prescription, or do we have to?
You know, I'm
go to that
not
provider?
getting the wound care orders for you.
No,
So whoever's
that's
doing the wound care orders would be the person to do it.
interesting.
And there's also a wound care clinic. Have you seen Patty Smith?
Oh yeah, she's the one doing the.
She's doing the cure. Okay, so as long as Patty's seeing you, yeah, then that's so she can do those orders too. But I don't get those orders, so I don't want to muddy the water and have many chefs spoiling the sauce.
Also, she can do it too, because she
So
wanted
whoever's
to do
been
this
doing
appointment.
it, whoever has been doing it
Okay, interesting.
should do it.
Anderson. I think the name is
Dr.
Pat
Smith.
Anderson. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, Patty Anderson is just doing the so when we change that, just keep on going every week with her, or discontinue?
Yeah, I would give her another try. I mean, because you gotta disrupt that capsule that's in there, and curating's really the only way to do that. So.
Okay.
She said it's worse. She said the hole is worse than it was.
Well, if that, you know,
before
if she wants to stop, have her call me.
Okay.
Have her call me, and I'll talk with her about it. She has my number.
Yeah, she wanted to come, but she was out of town.
Yeah,
So this
that's
is
fine.
fine.
Just when you see her, if she has any reservations, have her call me.
Okay.
Share her thoughts. You know, I want everyone on the same page.
That was one thing that, yeah, she talked, she really wanted to come to this appointment. Not this, I don't know if it was this appointment or was it this appointment? 'Cause she really wanted to touch base with you and find out what was your path.
So have her call me, and I'll share with her everything, just like I did with you.
Yeah, and also it depends on what angle you do because when she was measuring it, he was sliding on a different angle. Her table is different, so it can go more.
Yeah, it really slides.
deeper.
Yeah, it's a huge area, so, you know, it's a tough problem. Tough nut to
Yeah.
crack.
So, it sounds like for a couple months or something like that, then you kind of want to see what happens and. to
Yeah,
see
well, we
what
should
you
change
want
something,
to do.
because whatever we're doing isn't working, so I think we'll change the silver sponge, see if that doesn't work. And we can then, if that doesn't help, then we can stop curetting and see if that helps, you know, we keep making changes. If we keep doing the same thing and it's not working, that's just dumb, so we should just make changes. Maybe we find a combination of things that works, and if not, surgery is, you know, basically the last option.
Okay.
Okay? But I'll put all that stuff in my note. Okay?
All right, man.
I'm sorry you're dealing with this, it's a real crummy hand to be dealt.
Nah, I appreciate it.
Put the wound back on, or shall we just take it back home and have our nurse do it?
When is your nurse coming?
She comes Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, unless we have an appointment and we'll have to go.
Let me ask, I think they should be comfortable with it. And you, well, you probably know more about it than them, so you can give them some tips, right?
Mhm.
All right, well, come see me, you know, this is my stand. If you want me to do surgery, I'll do surgery. Otherwise, you know, a wound care nurse can certainly say, well, that didn't work, let's try this. I'm always happy to lend my advice or support or anything like that. But, you know, I'm not gonna waste your time and, you know, have you keep appointments if I'm not doing anything for you. But always, you know, I'm always happy to look at your wound and give you my opinion.
Yeah, it's good to have the options to know, you know, and know what is available out there, you know.
I don't know. All right. Yeah, have Patty call.
Okay. I'll start prepping him while they come.
Perfect, and I'll send them right in.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you for seeing us. I know that we came late, so, but, yeah.